You used to count down. Hey, welcome to the Dr. G Show. This is episode 125.
Woo-hoo.
I don't know how many years I've been doing this, but it's. I think we're gonna run out of health issues soon. No, we live in America, so we'll never run out of that. As you guys join us, feel free to post questions. For those of you guys that watch it offline, post questions too, and we'll try to answer those as we go, although I'm behind a few episodes on questions. Today we did the Wise Women thing, so we've had all that going on, and that went really well, even though it was the ice storm, so we have a breather on that, all that. And so we want to kind of re-ground and refocus and start off this part of January into February into kind of being more mindful, purposeful, and talk about health conditions again. And so as you guys have ideas of things that you want to hear about, definitely make sure to post those. And then we want to talk about kind of mindfulness stuff. You guys made a lot of New Year's resolutions. Statistically, most of you guys have already quit those. So we want to talk about maybe more purposeful and mindfulness stuff too. But also, we have Saka here. Saka?
Yep, Yogi Saka.
Yogi Saka, right? And he's awesome. He's been here for how long have you been here?
Around 3 years now. 3 years in Wichita, yeah.
Nice, okay. So, many of you guys probably already know him. I met you at Retreat to Joy with Connie Perazga, and you were doing meditation. You were leading the meditation at that mindful event, which was awesome. And there's Sabrina.
In fact, I just took a few days back one more meditation at Rio Dan Clinic.
Oh, did you really?
I did take one more. It was based on the divine being you are, and I really enjoyed it. I'm thankful to Connie. In fact, she asked whether I could, before I leave back to India, if I could do one more meditation, and I was so happy.
Awesome. Yeah, so he's quite the guru, and he's a real life yogi, which is pretty cool. And so at some point, I'll have to go to India and visit you. Where are you going to be in India?
I've been in this field of health, wellness, meditation, yoga for past 13, 14 years. And before I came here, I was working as a corporate wellness coach in a big corporate. And before that, as a personal coach. So I may want to go back into corporate coaching and personal coaching. And this time with the experience of nutrition and supplementation. I would want to combine it with the holistic approach of meditation, mindfulness, spirituality.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So how does so I'm curious too, because I have a few patients from India, and there's lots of, at least there, I think most of them near like Mumbai, and so there's lots of pollution, lots of people, and I don't know, I don't get the sense that it's like the healthiest place sometimes, but how does it compare to here? Do they have the same kind of stuff we have going on with lots of stress and eating horrible stuff, or you always think of we have friends like Diane Steves, before she passed away, she's one of those people that went to India, and then she went through all the different kind of meditation programs and yoga programs. And you always think of it that way, that eat, pray, love kind of like part of India. But how is it actually there for people that do our kind of work?
Yeah. I mean, of course, you have to visit India to experience India, because you know that it's the population is more than 1.2 billion.
Oh my goodness.
And 3 times more than the US, and 3 times less in terms of the space than the US. So you
Holy
will
crap.
see the flood of people everywhere. So it was a shock for me when I came to the US for the first time in 2016, that whenever I used to go out, out of the house, I could hardly see anyone. I could only see cars.
Yes.
And over there, when you will go out, you will see cars, bikes, dogs, cat, cows, animals, everybody, kids playing cricket, sports, even on the street. So it's a totally different kind of place and experience. And as far as the health aspect is concerned, because we have our tradition related to the holistic Ayurveda therapy, where naturally over a period of time, traditionally families have retained certain kind of understanding science and culture of the food in which it is prepared, the spices which are being added, the seasons in which a particular kind of food has to be eaten. That has a big impact on people's health if over a period of time, if you are consistent with that. However, because of the rapid influence of the America and the West,
America.
Yes, the McDonald's, the Burger Kings, all and other things. We are trying to show our love towards you guys and want to be like you. Yes, there have been a lot of health-related crisis when it comes to diabetes, when it comes to hypertension, heart-related as well. So that obesity as well. Yes, it's quite on rise. Yep.
So that's what you kind of see is anywhere that America kind of like influences other countries, they just end up being as bad as we are with their health, which sucks. I know, like when we went to Japan for a wedding, there was a McDonald's, and that was way back before I did all this, and I was just like, well, I have to get McDonald's in like Japan, like that has to be a thing, and so I got the teriyaki burger. Which I don't know, it's pretty good, but my friend that went with me, she said, she went to college there like 10 years ago, and she said there are like chubby kids, and she's just like, they never, like her whole time in Japan, all those years of college, you never saw chubby people really at all, and then people were just widening up just a little bit more than they were before, and same thing when we went to Okinawa, it was kind of the same. And so, although in France I don't think I saw many chubby people at all. Not much at all. I don't know. But, when we'll bomb countries, and then we'll be like, you're now our ally, and then you have to buy all our crap. And then they start having these horrible epidemics of diseases like irritable bowel and Crohn's and stuff that they have no earthly idea how to even treat because... So that was always my goal. My friend went to Belgium, and she went to a conference there. And she said the plates were as big as your hands, right? Mm-hmm. They had this big 6'4" Germans there too at the conference, and they were just eating plates the size of your hand, like little 7-inch plates, and just be like, yeah, that's a normal meal. The little desserts were the size of shot glasses. That was a normal dessert. Like the Americans were just like, what the hell is this? Like there's no food. What's going on? And so she was like, you should practice in Belgium, but you would have no business. Like you'd have no patience, right? Everybody's biking everywhere. They're eating in open air, so they're getting lots of sunlight. They're walking everywhere. They're I think there's more cars than more people than cars, and they're eating super healthy. And so she was just like, this would be a wonderful place for you to practice, but you'd have no patience. So my idea was, I'll just go over there, open up a McDonald's, get everybody fat and sick, and then they can come to my office, and I'll be like, you gotta stop eating like an American.
Yeah, that's what I believe most of those typical doctors would kind of wish for. Their personal prayer would be. This is one big thing again in India that when I came over here.
There's Mindy.
Hi. Yep. Hello to all of you. Hello, Mindy. When I came to US, it was the first time I learned how to drive. I mean, I sat behind a steering wheel. I never drove a car in India.
Really?
Really. So it was it was all walking, kind of commuting, kind of like an exercise. It's actually if you want to get onto a train or a bus and stand.
You have to work for it.
Yes, you have to work for it. And I believe one of the biggest consequence of a sedentary lifestyle, of course, apart from nutrition, because our body is actually evolved to move.
Yeah.
The purpose in which the body has evolved is to be on constant move for food, in terms of play, in terms of survival. And the time we spend actually, especially if you are in a sedentary job in sitting position, that has actually been linked to like a risk factor in itself.
Right. Yeah.
So it's a big
American.
yeah, and that is really very kind of when it comes to your health aspect, very damaging. And I mean, I have been grateful in my field as a health wellness professional that all my life I have always kind of been moving around, walking around, and I've encouraged, motivated people as well to make use of their body. And very important because as recent science is actually also coming up with the understanding that exercise and keeping the body agile, moving, actually improves your brain function.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It always outperforms all antidepressants.
Yes.
for sure. Yeah. Well, and it's funny because the average the average European, I'm sure it's probably the same in India, but they walk about 10,000 steps a day. So basically about 5 miles walking every day. But the average New Yorker, who we think of people walking all the time, is 2,500 steps a day. Ah, crap! 10,000 Europe, 5,000 New York, and then for Kansas, where we are, it's 2,500.
Oh wow!
And so it's this whole mentality of like, well, I'm gonna let machines do all my work. I'm not gonna do a mixer by hand or do this like Grandma did. I'll just push a button. And like we get so weak, we can't even open jars in our 30s. Anybody else? I can open a jar.
Hi,
But
Gina.
how about you guys? Is there any one of you guys that can't open a jar, right? And so instead of basically saying you guys need to actually do more, we just get so we get a gripper, so it's easier to grip it.
Yeah, and
But then it's just like, well, why do all that work? So now they got a little machine, you can just put it in there like a can opener that will crimp and then twist open your jar. So then you can just get weaker and weaker. And then when you get so weak, then you go pay a gym to do all the stuff you won't do, right? And so I love the idea that like Americans literally drive to a gym to walk on treadmills, right? Or like CrossFit, it's just like, I'm not going to change my tire. That's a lot of work. So I'm going to go pay a gym to flip tires and do stuff that I wouldn't normally do,
Yeah, I was also quite amused to see an advertisement actually of a vacuum cleaner, a robot. Actually,
Roomba, yeah.
Where you program and then he starts vacuuming and come back to the place and gets the job done. So you don't even have to use the vacuum by your hand.
I know.
I'm like,
So then they'll
that
come
was-
up with an exercise machine that does this. You're just like, or like those things or those ropes are like that. Yeah, Ellen All says she's 56.
Great,
58.
Ellen. Yeah.
Well, she's a great looking 58. Yeah, she's super young. And she can still open jars. She ought to put that on
Yeah.
her dating profile.
You remember Newton's, is it second law, third law of motion? Whatever stays in motion continues to stay in motion.
That's right.
So if your body will stay in motion, it will continue to stay in motion.
That's right.
So it's actually a law which if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. So the more you make your body, your muscle remind and remember that it is being used,
Yeah.
the more they would want to kind of perform and do things and hold themselves together. Your bones, your joints, your ligaments would get that memory, would get that idea that, oh wow, I'm being used, so I need to kind of maintain myself. And if it is not, then of course it is going to fall apart.
And it's almost synergistic too, because the more I did yoga, the better I ran. The
Oh,
more I
yes.
did meditation, the better I breathed when I exercised. And then I wanted to exercise more because I didn't have shin splints and fatigue out quickly. Like, it's weird how all that kind of goes together. But that first part of just like, well, I'm too weak to run. I'm too weak to go to the gym. I'm too weak to do, too weak to open a jar, So most people have all these excuses why they can't do it because they're weak. But the only way to overcome that is to do.
Yes.
To put yourself in motion.
Yes. Yeah.
Which Mindy says Ellen is amazing.
Yes, indeed. And so are you, Mindy.
So that's the standard we have now. Be like, you know what? My mama can open a jar. Oh, she's so special. So this is the rating for women now. Women that can open jars are all inspiring. So, except for the fact that Eleanor is awesome, so it's all right. I get it. So yeah, that body in motion, that constantly moving, like our cars will rust if we don't move them, and our bodies just get weak. And in fact, there's something called osteomalacia patellae, which is pretty common. So during the winter, you guys will sit around a bunch, and then your bones actually will get a little weaker because force and exercise and friction is what actually makes your bones stronger.
Exactly.
Right? And so the place behind the patella and the tibia, femur, sorry. It's been a while. It runs on the femur. There you go. It'll get a little soft, right? And from just sitting around all winter, and then they're like, I'm gonna go get exercise, and then they'll start walking more, and it will hurt. The quads will pull that bone next to that femur and rub, and it will hurt like hell. And there's a great test called Clark's test if you want to make enemies. But with those patients, it's like, oh, but when I walk down the block now, it hurts in the springtime. Well, good. Walk more. Keep walking. That's how you stop hurting, you know?
One thing which, just because you mentioned about this hip joint brought to my notice about the different lifestyle as well, where, in India, especially in the Asian countries where you sit on the floor to eat and you cross your legs, you squat to poop. These which is the most natural form in which you can get the pressure relieved from your rectum and your colon, and then you can have the stuff coming out in a very easy way.
Okay, wait. So what are those toilets? So are those Turkish toilets?
So
like in Japan,
there is no commode.
They have the squat ones.
Yeah, so you just have to squat. There's nothing which you have to sit on.
Right. Now, Paris, they have like those old school ones.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So basically, you're not supposed to sit, but because I'm American, I was just like, in Japan, I was like, this hurts my legs.
Yes, it will hurt, especially,
So, it has that little lip. So I just sat down there.
Yes.
Which is super gross. But I was a lazy ass American when I went. And so I was just like, how do people squat this whole time? But what kind of toilet is that? That's
It's just a kind of.
It looks like a urinal in the ground.
Yeah, and you just have to squat on it.
Yeah. But it is better.
Yeah, it's kind of you will instantly feel, especially even if now they'll come up with this particular thing called a squatty potty.
Yeah.
Where you I have it, I use it, and you actually kind of feel the difference when your knees are a bit higher than the floor, and then the kind of pressure it creates on your rectum where it becomes easier for you to pass the stool. So it's found out to be actually beneficial in your colon health as well. And there's when it comes to other aspects of where most people here even at their house they wear socks and shoes and they walk in their house. I found it for me, whenever I go back home, I just kind of get my shoes off, socks off, and I'm barefoot. Even when I exercise, I do barefoot walk and run sometimes. It's actually a great way wherein
because it makes everything stronger in those little inner muscles instead of just doing hinge work with your shoes on.
And especially your extremities, your palms and your toes have got more of nerve fibers and endings which actually are very much connected to how through your entire spine can influence your brain function as well. The way in which the grounding happens when you are on the ground, and the effect of kind of tapping your feet and then running has got an entire effect on your big effect on your kind of movement on your spine, and that is something which I include in my exercise every time. If I get a time to kind of go out, just go and run barefoot. If you guys also get a chance, at your home, you can try, if you could just be barefoot and walk around, and you could, in some time, few days, you could feel some difference when it comes to how sensitive your feet are to getting the energy and transmitting it. It's a big thing, actually, your feet and your hands. Even if you could massage your feet and hands, sitting and just relaxing them out.
Yeah. Well, how many of you guys do grounding? I actually had a patient that hugs trees. She like looks around, makes sure nobody's looking.
Oh yeah,
she'll hug trees.
I do hug trees, but I don't look around at all. It's yeah.
You're not even afraid about being all this, right? You just live it.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, so how many of you guys ground? So basically taking your shoes and socks off at the in the park or at home, but also, instead of having that rubber sole in between. And then how many of you guys do squatty potties? Tell us about your bowel movements.
Yeah.
Because it's different. And they sell the things that basically you can squat next to you can squat, like have your legs up over the toilet, but
yeah, I have used it ever since I came. I told my wife at that time, I am going to have the squatty potty. There is no way. And in fact, she also had it. And when it comes to, as a doctor, I would like to ask you, it's all about nutrition for you, of course. But what I also, over a period of time, what I have seen as a wellness health coach, nutrition coach as well, that your detoxification, that it's not that what you put in your mouth, it's what comes out, which is very much important. The elimination, the detoxification which happens in the system is more important, I believe. You may want to give your opinion, please, than what you actually put in your mouth. Because if you are not getting rid of the toxins in the first place, then no matter whatever good you put, it will not be of any good in the first place.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because at the Wise Women thing, I got to meet Dr. Harshberger, and she does, she's a colon therapist. And so basically she does a lot of that, filling you up with water and then flushing everything out,
Yes.
And
enemas.
Right.
Yeah, I've tried those as well.
And so, it's one of those things, like I've had a patient, and so one thing is bowel transit time, like you're saying. Oh, wait a minute. First of all, Emily, she says, I hug them too, so does my youngest daughter. So
she's a feet baby.
Tree
Tree.
Yeah. That's how she met her husband. He was big as a tree, and she was all hugging trees, and then she was like, oh, hey, how are you doing? She's like, oh, I'm sorry, your arm's as big as tree trunk. So there's a bowel transit time. So you're right, like, we eat this stuff, and then it just kind of stays with us. And so back when I used to do lots of x-rays in practice, we would have, like, you'd see so many, like, huge bowels full of poop. Like, people are just full of crap, right? The further south you go, the more crap you see. You don't know about that. In the U.S.?
Yeah, in terms of how...
No, we're talking shit about the south states, southern states.
Oh, southern states.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking about your colon, which is being kind of almost 20 feet in the downward part. No, I was not thinking in that terms.
So the bowel transit time, basically there's what's called the oral anal reflex, right? So you eat food, you poop food. Eat food, so it's food in, food out, food in. And it should take about 9 to 12 hours to move through something like 30 feet of tube, right? And if you took your mouth and your anus and you squished the body together, it's a donut. So just because these stuff goes in doesn't mean it goes in the body. So if you swallowed a string, like this, you'd poop out the string, and then you just pull that string back out, right? It never actually went inside the body, right? Just like you're saying. Just because you eat it doesn't mean you absorb it, right? And doesn't mean you get rid of it. So then what happens is you should have like food in, food out. So if you ever feed a baby, you then pass it to someone else, and it's going to immediately start pooping, and they have to change the diaper. So that's a good strategy. And so you got a choice. Always choose to feed the baby, not hold it later. So the way that you can check your own bowel transit time, because it should be 3 meals in, 3 meals out, so 3 meals a day, three bowel movements a day. But you have patients that go like 1 time a day, and so is it because they're peckish or is it real, or they're constipated? And so if they eat corn, corn comes out corn, right? So they can eat corn, and then you got to figure out how fast your transit time is. It should be 9 to 12 hours. Eat corn today, it comes out tomorrow. And corn's wonderful because you can just rinse it back off. You can reheat it. Reuse it. But the longest we ever had was we had a patient that went every day, 1 time a day.
Oh, wow.
1 time a day. Had lots of stomach problems. And that corn took 16 days to come out. She had 48 meals in her, right? 48 meals. So you're absolutely right. Just because it comes in doesn't mean it goes out. And a lot of people's bowels just start like American stomach. Here you have a European stomach, and America's like mega sauce, right? I'm gonna dip my cheeseburger in nacho cheese sauce and my pizza and ranch dressing because I'm American. You got to take that back to India, teach them that stuff, so then you can teach them not to do that stuff and get paid for it. So, so then basically they end up with their bowels just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and they'll end up with like toxic megacolons. Like, it's crazy.
Yep. So detoxification is very important. In fact, I have these 5 founding, or you can say the 5 principles, foundations on which I personally live my health-related kind of aspect, health living.
What are these 5 things?
These are meditation, which is spirituality.
All right, I like that.
Second is detoxification. Third is exertion in terms of exercise. Fourth is the
martinis.
No.
Sleep. Sunlight.
Oh yes, it is. Wait, it is. Meditation, detoxification, nutrition.
Okay, nutrition.
Exertion and supplementation. Okay. So these are the 5 principles on which I base my health around. So as I was talking to you, meditation in terms of your mindset, because I was a health and fitness trainer when I started my career.
Okay, which by the way, you look like an average guy. But I've seen pictures of you with your shirt off.
Okay, really?
And you're just all like, bam, like this, right?
Yeah.
So if we were at the pool, I'd be like, I'm gonna just wear my t-shirt. Look at holy shit! Show them. That's insane. Show them your. That's crazy.
Well,
yeah.
I do like working out, and I do exercise a lot.
Look at that. Holy crap.
When it comes to the principle which I actually apply is mind your body to embody your spirit.
Wait, say it again.
Mind your body to embody your spirit.
I like that.
Which means that you are trying to have health or achieve a health which is not an end in itself, because being healthy is not the end or the goal of life. With the healthy body, you are trying to live your life, you are trying to have healthy relations, you are trying to bring meaningful contribution towards the through your work in the society, in the community, in the world. So health is a medium. If we get fixated with just the body aspect, where here it becomes the meditation very important, where most people have got a very, very inferior complex when it comes to their body image. And I've seen that people who are overweight, obese, actually have got a very poor self-image related to themselves when they identify with the body. Yeah. And at the same time, the low acceptance or zero acceptance of how their body is. So that is where meditation, mindfulness, being aware of what I am thinking about myself becomes very important. And as I talk to you, when it comes to spirituality, meditation, I always tell people, and I see them always, that you are an awesome, amazing spirit who
Yes.
is using the mind and body as an instrument. You are much more than your body, no matter whatever the body looks and appears. You can change the body. Your body has changed over a period of time, ever since its birth, as a baby, an infant, and right now what you are actually having. It's a very different body, but
Right.
you have not experienced any change related to your own being.
Right. Yeah.
So that is the amazing thing about who we are. We can influence the change in our mind and body, and that is something which I deal with meditation. That once you can get a very good understanding about your sense of significance and value, you can influence your health, your relations, your finances, everything in a much, much powerful way.
Yeah. And that's what, like with New Year's resolutions that everybody has made and failed, because they didn't change who they were. But a lot of them, a lot of what we do as Americans is kind of this vanity stuff of just like, what if I like dressed kind of regularly, had a little, dad bod going on, but I was happy every day,
Yes,
know?
exactly.
And I had a glow in my eyes,
Mhm.
I think people look past imperfections if there's that glow in your body, if there's that glow in your eyes, if there's that sense of vitality in you. But I think you don't get that when you're chasing the, I want to fit in this. And so it's kind of like, oh yeah, you look good, but I wouldn't talk to you very long, or I don't want to be around you. You have negative energy. Yeah, you look good, and it's funny because, like I delete all my dating apps first of the year because they're just ridiculous. But one of the things in there, you swipe left, swipe right. Almost 99% of all I look at is the eyes. Do they look defeated, or do they still look like they have life in them?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, that's that first thing of like, do they have some kind of vitality there? And then maybe I'll like look and see and be like, oh, maybe. But it's weird that like I could care less about all the other stuff. It's that energy that's important. And I think so much of the time we chase all these other things and forget about that, like exactly what you said, where it's just like that vital force, that glow inside the person is really the most important thing. And people, like, you look at some people and like, oh, how did they get together? And it's just like, but she's awesome, or he's like so nice, and you realize that really is the thing that you should be seeking or look for. And that way, if you're overweight, great, you're awesome. If you're underweight, great, you're awesome. If you're normal weight, great, you're awesome. No matter what you are, that's really, I think, the best part of people,
Totally agree. I mean, if you see, the body is nothing but an accumulation of the food which you've had until this point of time. Because what is the flesh body made up of? Flesh, bone, bloods, ligaments, joints, tendons, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And what it is made up of?
Just from the food.
The food.
That's right.
Yep.
I never thought of it like that. It is pure food.
It is pure
You're
food.
pure food.
Yeah.
Pure food.
Pure food. And the another perception actually is that this food, what you call, where is it coming from? Is it coming from the grocery store which you're buying? Of course. But who is providing it?
Yeah.
Who is providing it? Isn't the universe, the sun, the earth, the wind, the water, the rivers, the sea, is all contributing in making the kind of food which you eat, the grains, the chicken, the apples. So what I'm trying to imply over here is that you are getting the resources from the universe.
Yeah.
Some grocery store is actually making it available to you, and you are taking it into your body. You are making a part of that body.
Yeah.
So this is purely spiritual based approach of trying to relate with the body and with your food which we eat actually, because health is nothing but a relation which we have with our body and with our food.
Okay, so you want to hear? I remember my saying I stole from The Simpsons. You know who the Simpsons are?
Yes, those family of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was trying to think about this when I was doing the other one a couple weeks ago, but that's right. It's from when they visit the Mr. Pibb factory, I think. But I basically confiscated it and changed it. But it said, "Health and wellness is not a war that can be won or lost. It's a constant dialogue between you and your food."
Exactly.
I like that. So God, I haven't used that in forever.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you. So if you guys have questions for the Yogi, post them. Also, as we go through this, but I have to say, so I always say we're biochemistry that eats biochemistry that supports our biochemistry, right? But I don't know why after all these years I've never even thought that we're just food. We're 100% food.
Yeah, this is the spiritual.
We're just food.
This is actually the spiritual approach in which I have grown, and the culture and the values which are shown to and taught to us, that you are not the body, but you are carrying an instrument, which is the body, which is the accumulation of food. You are carrying an instrument which is a mind, which is the accumulation of your thoughts, experience and memories. That which is an accumulation cannot be you, because the accumulations comes and goes.
Yeah.
And in this sense, those accumulations, where are they coming from? They're coming from the universe. So here is what I'm trying to kind of tell, that you are a universal being who is having universal energies, and you are having a universal body, you are having a universal mind. If we could shift our perception from the limited person we think ourselves to be when we eat food, that I am having some energy from the universe, which is getting transformed in this body, which is the body of the universe itself. Because if the food which I am eating belongs to the universe, and the body is made up of the food which I am eating, this body also belongs to the universe.
Yeah.
So this is a universal body.
And shit just got real.
Yeah. And
Awesome.
and this is something even much deep. If I were to ask you or anyone out there, what is the intense experience you would want to have when you want to relate with someone? What is an intense experience you would like to have when you want to relate with someone? For me, I made it clear. I wanted extreme love, passion, involvement.
Yes.
In everything, even when eating food.
Yes.
What would be your answer? What is a kind of relation which you would want to have when, maybe you may not have thought about it, but right now if I were to ask, what is that which you can think of having?
Well, so say the question again, so I get it right.
What is the relation you would want to have when you are having food, or for that matter with any person?
Yeah.
With whom you want to feel connected or want to feel connected? What is the way in which you want to experience that relation?
I think it's that, and it's kind of that mindful approach, but like, and this is kind of like, I'll probably have to go around the bush a little bit here, but like the being very connected. So there's a lot of times when you eat and you're just mindlessly eating and you're just like, did I even eat anything? But I love when I make food and I take the time and like you eat a little bit and you just like notice the texture, you notice
Savor
the flavor,
yes,
and you have these kind of like responses to it, and you're like in that moment with that food.
Oh wow, yes, in that moment with that food.
And I love that even with now this with my cats, to where sometimes I'm just petting my cat, and then sometimes I'm like, okay, I stop and I just kind of look at my cat. And I'm just kind of like stroking under the eyes and around the ears and kind of watching how my cat interacts with the way that I touch and pet to figure out where the perfect place is. And that's kind of how I am with relationships too, is try to be like really fully involved and kind of like noticing like if I caress her arm, how does she respond? If I touch her hair, how does it respond? If I hug her, how does she respond? Like kind of really being that self-aware of the interaction with it. But I gotta say, probably 90% of the time, I'm probably more mindless than I should be. And then that 10% of the time, like I'm really like acutely aware of how I interact with other things.
Yeah.
So I would rather have more of that.
More of an intense involvement,
Right.
where you are actually aware, and at the same time you are sensing that something is a part of you. You feel kind of connected with that cat belongs to you, you belong to the cat, the food belongs to you, you belong to the food. There's an intimacy.
Yeah.
So this is something really very I always say that if you revel in joy, you will have revelations.
You revel in joy.
Yes,
Yeah,
revelations will only happen to those who will revel in joy. Revelry is the secret if you want to enter the kingdom of God. So always be joyful, and that's something which is the core, the secret for getting all that kind of knowledge. If you really want to have that intense experience of involvement. So when we eat food, that food which we eat, say an apple. When you eat apple, that apple does not remain an apple in our body. What does it become?
Right. Becomes all the biochemistry.
Yeah, it becomes Dr. Patrick.
That's right. Dr. Patrick Apple.
Yeah, not
That's
even
right.
Dr. Patrick.
That's right.
It becomes fully. So you eat a chicken, you eat grains, you eat water, you eat whatever. It becomes a part of you. It becomes you.
Yeah.
What is love in that sense?
Oh shit. Here we go.
The highest definition of love which I see, someone is willing to be a part of you, wanting to take care of you without hanging on to its own identity, dissolving its own self, and taking care of your own existence.
That's kind of like that drowning in love.
Yes.
Emulsifying yourself in love.
Exactly. So what is the food actually you are eating when what you are doing? You are having an intimate love affair. The food is willing to be a part of you, taking care of you, nourishing you. And then it becomes you itself.
Yeah.
And if we could have that food with that kind of, mindfulness, heartfulness, joyfulness, then no matter whatever we put in our mouth, that's why I always say, this is my approach. What you eat is not that important. When you eat is important, the timings. Then how you eat. This is the practice of mindfulness in terms of bringing the emotions into pictures, bringing awareness, because most people who are addicted to food,
Yeah.
you know the biggest addiction. What is the biggest addiction in the world?
Sugar,
the food. It's
Yeah,
not
food.
cocaine, it's not kind of drugs, it's not pornography, it's food, it's sugar.
Yeah.
And that is because once your senses get stimulated by something so primitive which we always wanted for its own survival, sugar was very important for us for the survival. It took care of when kind of things were very limited.
Yeah.
But now that same sugar can be very dangerous because it's available in plenty.
Yeah.
So in that sense, your food is nothing but a love affair which you are actually having.
Right. Yeah.
And same way, through the sun when you receive the light, through the water when you receive rains, you receive the water, through the wind when you receive the breath. It's all the universe which is actually becoming a part of you. And this is where the meditation aspect of the very fundamental aspect comes into picture, that if we could eat food with this sense of kind of awareness, understanding, the kind of healing, the emotions which would be generated, which I was talking about, most of the diseases so-called are called as lifestyle diseases. That is something which is related to how your emotions and thought actually affects your physiology. And if we can impact in a negative way, why not impact in a positive way with this?
That's right. That's right. Well, hey, we have a couple questions too. Let's see. I'm trying to.
Yeah, I
Oh.
hooked me up with MCT oil at Natural Grocers. I hope it's
What did she
working.
say? Amaze balls?
I don't know what that means.
Michelle, what are you talking about there? And then, who was it before that? Okay, Eleanor said, you said one of the principles is detoxification. How do you do that?
Oh,
Squat and poop.
Yes, and one of the, yeah, so detoxification is all what you take in has to be eliminated. So what do you take in? You take in food, it has to be eliminated. Take care of your colon. So the right way in terms of sitting position, in terms of your colon health, eat a good amount of fiber. If you can manage and do enema, you can do enema, or kind of have a good colon cleanse supplement. When it comes to another powerful aspect of detoxification, as I say, we can live without food for about 2 to 3 weeks, 2 weeks or so, 15, 20 days. Yeah?
Yeah.
We can live without water for around 7 to 10 days. But without air,
we die. Yeah.
2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So what is that which I'm trying to tell? The subtler the energy becomes, food, water, air, the more crucial and important it is to the system.
Yeah.
And if you could play with the subtle energy, that is with your breath, if you could do certain detoxifying techniques of doing powerful deep breathing techniques, powerful exhalations, working on your abdominal breathing. Most people actually do a very shallow breathing and a wrong kind of breathing.
Yeah.
So if you could do certain practice of morning, afternoon and evening, some deep breathing practices, it's a very, very powerful way to cleanse and detox on cellular level, because where these kind of gases the air can reach, your food and your water cannot reach in the cells.
Yeah.
Through diffusion. And again, beyond that, what is subtler than air are your thoughts and emotions.
Oh, detoxification through that.
So
yeah.
that has got even much bigger role to play. Detox process all the past memories, hurts, resentment, emotions, grudges, expectations, which we have been holding unnecessarily in forms of kind of I call ego. Ego is a mule carrying the burden of past regrets and memories and future expectations.
Nice.
Ego is a mule, a donkey. So that's something which we have to process on the level of mind as well. And this is how I see that we can have the vibrant body and mind through which we could allow our spirit to manifest. So yep.
Well, and probably people always think like detoxing through the colon, but maybe detoxing sweating, but not really breath. Which if you don't breathe, if you shallow breathe enough, it'll build up, like even on your labs, the carbon dioxide, and that'll actually stimulate epinephrine, which is fight or flight, and it can actually eventually cause a vagal basal response, where people will feel like they're going to pass out all the time because they're not breathing. They're just tense and they're not breathing.
Exactly.
And then if you don't breathe, your body will make you pass out, and then what happens? You go, and you get rid of all that negative byproduct of detoxification of respiration. Yeah. And
that's what actually the body is very intelligent.
That's what I've heard.
It gets adapted to this kind of physiology of shallow breathing. It gets adapted to a high blood pressure, a stress response where it wants to keep up to itself.
Okay, and then Michelle talked about
all medium chain
fatty acid, which is coconut oil research. And so again, some of that's at least I don't know how you feel about it, but like with nutrition, a lot of times we get excited about one thing, but what if we don't have that one thing? How does it work other places? How does it work everywhere? Like, what's the universal way of getting nutrition, all that kind of stuff? And so, I don't know. I don't get excited about necessarily like this thing or that thing. But obviously, what are your thoughts?
On this specific question, because at Natural Grocers we have a nutrient where we try to talk about it, educate and promote in terms of the health benefits of it. So this time it was the coconut MCT oil, fatty acids. And I personally take MCT pre-workout and in the mornings. and it has a big difference to make, especially if you want to kind of work on your mitochondrial function, at the same time your weight management and fat metabolism.
Do you take it as a supplement, or do you like eat?
I
eat
don't.
it, or use
Yeah,
it for
I do
cooking?
take it as a supplement. It's from the particular brand which I take 1 to 2 teaspoon in the mornings, and then again 1 to 2 teaspoons before workout. It's I found it really kind of powerful because it has been shown that these 3 fatty acids, the capric, caprylic, and sometimes even the lauric acid, unlike other fats which are used by the body to make certain components of your brain, hormones, or stored as fat,
Yeah.
these fatty acids are used directly by your brain, body, and gut as a source of energy to fuel.
Nice.
So your body gets adapted to a fat metabolism in a very faster way, and it also produces natural ketones in the liver.
Yeah. Well, and the caprylic acid and lauric, especially monolauric acid, are both anti-yeast too, which is nice.
Yes, so that's powerful in terms of their cleansing benefit.
So do you know her? You know who she is? She probably listens to you.
Michelle Martinez.
Yeah, she's super cool.
Uh-huh. I don't know her by name, but I definitely will recognize.
Okay. So, and Melanie Samo's watching, and Deb Anderson. So, thank you guys. Feel free to post questions to Yogi. So, your 5 things was meditation, detoxification, exercise, nutrition, supplementation too. And you guys, you know, I'm not a big supplement person, but so if you have really those kind of questions right now, this is like the perfect person for that.
That's right,
So-
at the end, because it's meditation is the first, detoxification is the second primary, third is the nutrition, then is the exercise, and then finally, based on your individual needs and something, if you really want to work with the power of herbs. When I say supplementation, I include mostly herbs.
Yeah.
My favorite is the ashwagandha,
yeah.
holy basil, and ginger,
Yeah.
garlic. So when I say supplementation, these are mostly with dealing with herbs
Yeah.
and the power of herbs, and not necessarily in terms of I've seen, wow, over here it's such a big industry of supplement. They have got cupboards where they put supplements in.
Right.
When I'm going to go back in India, we don't have anything like that over there, and it's mostly Ayurveda related kind of herbs and spices. But this was a big exposure for me in the field of supplementation, and I was happy to kind of learn about
yeah.
it.
Well, my patients from India that come, like they'll come to the U.S. a couple times a year, and they will like load up here for a year,
Yes.
and then go back because it's hard for them to get them in.
Yeah,
in
we
India.
won't get it now because of Amazon. There are certain kind of supplements people may get, but I stick to only few basic supplements, mostly for my exercise aspect and for brain function. So when it comes to brain function as well, the healthier fat if you can have through your diet, through your nutrition, certain herbs like the bacopa. I don't know whether you
Yeah.
heard about the bacopa is a really very powerful herb. Then I also have the phosphatidyl, the lecithin complex,
Yeah.
the fat.
Choline, serine.
Yes, choline
Yeah.
and serine. So I enjoy that, and in fact,
Those are good for memory, brain function.
yeah. And
energy.
exercise. If you could exercise some kind of intense exercise, some kind of
Hey,
movement.
You're talking to Americans. We don't exercise.
Well,
you're gonna scare people here.
That's why in fact I don't call it as an exercise. If you could play out, don't work out, play out with your body,
play out.
play with your body, and that's what I actually do. This is my jingle.
I've been playing with my body a lot lately.
Yeah, I mean that's what the body is all about, exploration. We have all been exploring the body since childhood. It's now just kind of we feel we know everything about it. We just stop. But no, there's so much kind of this body is a product, a result of more than 13 billion years of evolution.
Yeah.
You can imagine the kind of secrets which are hidden in this. So the more you shake, the more you kind of twist, the more you are able to kind of come up with the juice and the benefits out of it. I call it as life tastes better if you stir it well.
Yeah.
So that stir the body, play with the body. I like to finally kind of give my jingle. Everybody needs to have that kind of pep, motivation, the way in which you relate with your body and relate with yourself, so that you can just get up and start doing things out of that joy and love and passion. So this is the jingle. My body is my buddy, my mind is my friend. Together we work smart ways and set new trends.
Nice.
With the actions of my body and intentions of my mind, nothing is impossible for me to grind. With joy and love, I create my destiny, enjoying this fantastic world as a fantasy.
Nice.
So,
I like that.
Yeah, whatever vision I want to achieve, that is something which, if you can already hold in your mind, whatever you can hold in your mind, a vision, you are definitely going to put all your energy towards it. And have you read Bible, studied Bible?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A Jesus guy.
Yeah, Jesus guy,
Yeah.
the God guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when it becomes subjective, when it becomes about the Patrick guy, me, then it becomes really more fun. So in Bible there's a famous verse which I really like, where there is no vision, people perish or they lose their restraint.
Yeah.
So if we don't have a vision for our health will perish.
That's right.
If we don't have a vision for our relation will perish.
So that's good. That, like, one of the things Americans do now is they do this kind of vision boarding. Have you
Yes.
seen that? But I don't think anybody's done vision boarding. Like, it's always like, I went into Paraska's house, Connie's house, on New Year's to do that before the New Year's party, and they were doing vision boarding. And I remember I have to say, it was more like not really materialistic stuff, but it was like, I need to get more pants this year, and I need to do this, and like, it would be interesting to do food vision board, health vision boards, like really mindfully, not like the kind of I want to lose weight, that kind of stuff, but like the kind of dialectical, like vision boarding for that'd be a good little project.
Yeah, like how would you want to eat your food next time when you're going to sit and eat food? How do you see yourself relating with the food? How do you see yourself cooking the food? How you see yourself buying and shopping the food? The kind of all these things which you envision doing.
Yeah.
So that is a big thing. And again, when this is very important, there's the last part on the relationship aspect when it comes to vision. If there is only one vision, like for me, you have invited me for this program which you have been having for some time. So I really kind of I'm grateful to it and to you. So you have a particular vision towards this program event, right?
Yeah.
Now I have to align my vision also to the same. I cannot have some other vision apart from what your original vision is.
Yeah.
Because only when there will be kind of a one vision, there will be a unison. A unison is what creates harmony. If there are two visions, it creates division.
Right.
Division, vision, that leads to divorce. Divorce between husband and wife, divorce between your nation and politicians.
Yeah.
And divorce between all kind of entities, your employees and your corporate.
Yeah.
So vision is something so important, and as much as possible we should try to have a vision which is a common vision, and spirituality is the one vision where I am able to see you and you are able to see me as just one spirit, and there is no division in that. And that's something which kind of rejoices my heart every time I see you, every time I see them, every time I see that it's just one spirit, one me who is living through that body and mind and manifesting its wonder.
Yeah. So when you say that too, I always think of like, so I've been bachelor for a while, and I got my two cats, which they just sit in judgment of me all the time. But I do one of the unique things I do as food in relationship. Well, even like I do all the laundry. I used to always do the laundry, right, for the family. I do the dishes and stuff, and I cook a lot, right? But I do all my dishes by hand because to me, like with the divorce of not having the kids all the time, that connection to that kind of process, and even doing laundry, like I love doing laundry where I used to hate doing laundry, but because now it's a connection, right? It's a weird thing to explain, but like I feel connected doing these things, and they're kind of acts of service, but really they feel me for some reason. But with cooking, I decided that when I was going to cook, because again, when you're kind of like divorced and you're just like, I'm alone now, and it's like, you're kind of bored and you don't have this interaction all the time. So I thought, how do I like make it an enjoyable process? And so I bought a record player. I went to thrift stores, found old records, and then I I would make a martini, and then I would play a record, and then I would make food.
Oh.
And really, I do no electronics in my kitchen, so I chop everything by hand, I mix everything by hand, I mash everything by hand, and so like I'm connected to the process of it, and I make like a lot of different food throughout the week, but it's very connected here, right? And then I had a girlfriend that wanted to come over and cook, and I was just like, oh, I don't know about that. Like, you're in my space, and like this is my space, it's
Exactly.
my routine. And so she came over and we cooked, but it was really interesting because we both were like a little symphony. There was no division of cooking. Like it was synergistic. She was doing her things that were different from my things. I was doing my things, but like we didn't even have to tell each other really what we were doing.
Yeah.
We just connected. And then I had another, like a year later, I had another girlfriend, and she came over, and I'm just like whipping through stuff, and then she's just kind of like, well, you're going too fast, and and this is how I do, and it was just like, disconnected, right? And so it was interesting to see, as you talked about that, like how that cooking to me is really a personal, intimate kind of thing, and then when you have that, is it going the same direction, or is it dividing, right? And so that dividing of kind of like, what are your visions with this other person, or what is your goals, or how do you see things? Like, it's very important.
It is very important. Yeah.
And that's where that right tribe comes in so well, making sure that even with your friends, you guys are going the right direction for the right reasons, So we're at our end of our show here, which always goes fast.
Yeah, I do.
I don't know what. Mindy posted some cats, or they're mini llamas. They could be like furry cows. I don't know if she has cats or not. So, thank you guys for watching. Love you guys. Thank you for being part of this. 125 episodes. Oh my God.
That's amazing. Keep it up.
Like, that's crazy. So, you're going back to India.
Yep.
And then I have to find an excuse to come visit you in India. So, we got to stay in touch.
Sure, yes.
And I'm going to drink water from the Ganges, right? Not the mouth of it. I want that dirty, dirty Ganges water, right? So, my patients from India, I keep trying to get them to drink Ganges water, right? And they won't do it. I watched a special about how it's good for you, even though it's all polluted. And guess what he does? You drink Ganges water.
Yes, I did get some water from there, and I did drink it.
See,
I don't know where it is now.
Before he drank from the Ganges, he was like 100 pounds soaking wet, no muscles. Then he drank Ganges water, and
the holy muscles.
Boom! It was like rock star.
Holy muscles.
That's right. All right, you guys. If you have questions, feel free to keep posting those. I think it's martini time now, and I thank you guys for participating, and I love you guys for being a part of this, and. Thank you so much for being on our show. It's been a long time coming.
Yes.
And Saka is it means friend, right?
Yeah, Saka means a close friend, an intimate friend. Not like a fair weather friend who wants things from you.
Yeah.
But a friend who really needs what you truly want.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly who you are, inside out.
Thank you very much.
So, bye, you guys. See you next week. And if you guys have ideas for shows, me and Holly are going to sit down and kind of hammer out, I think, some show ideas. So feel free to keep posting some ideas for us. All right. Bye, you guys.